Okay, the AYUSH ministry sparking a fresh row after releasing a controversial booklet for ladies who are expecting. And here's what the ministry has to say. In fact, they have advised no meat, eggs or even sex while a woman is pregnant. These recommendations are part of a booklet called Mother and Child Care released by the ministry in the run-up to International Day for Yoga. In fact, just last month, Jamnagar-based RSS organization also advised couples to refrain from sex on auspicious days to conceive. So these are the recommendations that have been made. This is a booklet, Mother and Child Care, where the ministry has suggested that they try and avoid feelings like desire, anger, and to keep clear of bad company. I'm going to go, okay, we have a reaction before we go and get some more details about these recommendations. Let's just hear it. I'm going to go straight across now to Brijesh Pandey for more on this. Brijesh, I was, reading those recommendations proposed by the AYUSH ministry. Now, have they backed it on scientific rationale? Have they consulted doctors and gynecologists before they listed all of these recommendations out for expectant mothers?
Well, they have not. And, as you heard the first bite, they are saying that it is based on ancient science or Vedic science. Now, the thing is that, what is the locus standi of AYUSH ministry in advising somebody who's pregnant to follow a particular lifestyle? Now, it differs from case to case. And other than embarrassing the government, it has achieved practically nothing. The AYUSH ministry is on the back foot ever since this particular news has come out. And they have not given detail as to what made them arrive at this particular conclusion as to how a pregnant woman is supposed to behave, whether she should have sexual desires or not, or whether she should eat non-vegetarian food or not. So these are something which usually a government completely stays clear of, because other than embarrassment it doesn't get you anything. But looks like that there are ministers who have not learned lesson properly, and this particular outcome, this booklet is an outcome of that lack of understanding only.
Abha Singh also is with us right now. Brijesh, just kindly stay on. Ms. Abha Singh, thanks so much for speaking to us. What are your reactions? Have you got a chance to read all of those recommendations proposed by the AYUSH ministry? Do you also find them illogical, unreasonable? Because clearly one thing is there, that they aren't, really scientific, because our correspondent just confirmed it to us. They haven't really taken into consultations from doctors or even gynecologists.
Exactly. Those recommendations are bizarre. They are illogical. They are laughable, without any substance, without any application of mind. And they've come out with this coming from a government department. It's reprehensible. And now it is clear that this ministry, which was set up for yoga and naturopathy, is a waste on taxpayers' money.
Yes.
This sort of recommendations they are making, because for pregnant women, protein content is very important, and this protein is available in non-vegetarian food. And you cannot just say that non-vegetarian without any scientific tests. How can you say
and
that? And
especially in India, when protein deficiency and malnutrition are serious health concerns in our country, ma'am.
Exactly, and in fact, doctors prescribe chicken soup and fish to pregnant women in case they have protein deficiency. So how can they come up with this? So it should be withdrawn, because it would be harming the pregnant women, and also saying that you don't have relations with your husband. Is this what scientific proof you have for this?
And let me ask that to Shaina NC. Shaina NC is also joining us now, BJP spokesperson. Good morning, ma'am. Thanks so much for speaking to us. What is the scientific proof? I wanted to understand this from a correspondent as well. Has the AYUSH ministry, taken the consultation of medical practitioners, doctors and gynecologists? On what basis have they come out with these recommendations?
Firstly, please understand that this is not some coercion or force. If at all, it is an advisory, it is a guideline, and it is based on the science of yoga. Do understand that Mr. Shripad Naik, who is the Union AYUSH minister, as a part of a media kit for health editors, and which is in a run-up to the International Yoga Day, has given this booklet. And this booklet is like any other article. Tell me how many of our mothers and mother-in-laws, as we were pregnant women, did or did not tell us that have good thoughts, because that translates down to the child. Make sure you do away with anger or attachment or hatred at this
But
time.
ma'am, these are
because it has
recommendations
sent
coming in from the
vibes.
ministry. Don't you think it could be perhaps a little bit misleading, especially young mothers and the ones coming in from the low-income groups? I mean, this is a country where protein deficiency, malnutrition, low blood are some very serious health concerns amongst pregnant women in our country.
There is a prerogative of every pregnant mother to take decisions that she deems best. How many of us read books on pregnancy whilst you are saying that what should one do? How many of us know that there is an advice that is inspired by mom talk that is passed down generation after generation? A country which has a cultural and scientific heritage, which is evidence in this exact whole aspect of bearing a child. The Central Council for Research in Yoga.
But how many women are also educated in our country, ma'am? I mean, you have that luxury of being able to discern what's right and what's wrong if you're also educated. Priyanka Chaturvedi also joins us now on the broadcast. Ma'am, thanks so much for speaking to us. Your views on these recommendations that have been given out by the AYUSH Ministry?
I find it extremely unfortunate and condemnable. And I think AYUSH Ministry, instead of defending, and the BJP spokespersons coming and defending something as ridiculous as this, they should be immediately seeking a withdrawal of that statement and even apologizing. We must understand a couple of things. I was listening to the BJP spokesperson where first she says it's not forced on people, it's just an advisory. Now, an advisory coming from the government of India is based on facts, is based on research. It's not based on hearsay or mom talk that we have been listening through generations. The job of any government is to do away with these kind of myth-making concepts. Instead of doing that, you all are creating more propaganda around something like this and hiding behind the fact that, yoga speaks like this. Yoga doesn't speak about what you should be eating, whether it's vegetarian food or non-vegetarian food. I can cite my own example, being a vegetarian while during my pregnancy, my doctors advised me to seek protein and start eating non-vegetarian. But that is something I chose not to do. So these are things that the government of India, even as an advisory, cannot push across. It's a thought, it's an idea, it's an agenda that you're pushing.
And China, yes, let me just
society.
bring in China. It's not about not eating meat or not having sexual intercourse. I mean, there are things which have been mentioned saying to avoid bad company, nurture spiritual thoughts. I understand that, these are recommendations, but have they been based on scientific research? Have doctors been consulted? Have gynecologists been consulted? Because gynaes say just the opposite when a woman is expecting.
There is scientific evidence which has been proven, which has been put in this booklet, which says that the science of yoga can cure all illness. There are various aspects, whether it's diabetes, pregnant mothers, etc. This is only an advice as part of a media kit for health editors. I don't understand why we should be debating on. Would we be debating on an article that tells you that you should be vegan or you should be abstaining from dairy products and what the repercussions of it are?
No, but then in a way this is unreasonable advice.
This is not unreasonable. Take it at your own peril if you choose to. If you choose not to and you feel you know better, then it is your prerogative. I know of so many mothers who keep chanting the Bhagavad Gita, and children at the age of 2 or 3 who were in the mother's womb while she was pregnant actually say the same. The point is not whether it is proven or not proven. It is about it is all about the various gamuts which one highlights when one is pregnant and your choices of whether you want to take that advice or not.
But there are experts and rationalists who are accusing, a few people in the ministry of promoting unscientific theories in healthcare especially, and especially when it comes to pregnancy. Would you agree? Priyanka Chaturvedi?
Sorry, I'd just like to mention a couple of things here.
Yes.
When she mentioned science of yoga, I do believe yoga has extremely good exercises or diet regimen that they talk about for pregnant women. But this kind of factless pushing of agenda that is coming from the Ministry of AYUSH under the garb of, giving advisory, I think is absolutely ridiculous and unthought of. And when you talk about opinion columns or some mothers reading Bhagavad Gita during their pregnancy, it's absolutely a choice that they are practicing. That's a choice given to them. By giving such advice and pushing the country's agenda narrative towards, not eating non-vegetarian food, not, many such advisories that they've come up with to have a sanskari child, I think it's quite ridiculous. It's reducing the role of the government to just becoming something, to pushing an agenda which is factless, researchless, and does not talk about the well-being of a mother, or not really keeping in mind the well-being of a mother.
Right. Priyanka Chaturvedi and China NC, thank you both for joining us.